In this documentary, you will learn about the life of Prophet Muhammad before prophethood, his retreat in Hira, the coming of the first revelation, and the events that followed. Watch until the end, because this story is not only about the past, it is a universal story about how faith is born, how an ordinary human being becomes a prophet, and what it means to face uncertainty. When Prophet Muhammad was born in Mecca in the year 5071, Arab society was living in a deep moral and spiritual darkness, yet he was not like other young men of his society. From childhood, he was known as Al-Amin, the trustworthy. He never lied and never wronged anyone. People entrusted him with their belongings and relied on his word. As he reached adulthood, he worked as a merchant. He managed trade caravans for a wealthy businesswoman named Khadijah. His honesty, diligence, and reliability distinguished him from others. Khadijah eventually proposed marriage to him. Their marriage was built on mutual respect, love, and a deep spiritual partnership. As the years passed, however, Muhammad felt a growing unease within himself. The Kaaba in Mecca, filled with idols, the extravagance of the wealthy, the helplessness of the poor, the oppression of women, all of this troubled his conscience. He began to question the norms of his society. He saw the emptiness of idol worship and believed there must be a single creator, but he had no answers. As these questions became heavier, Muhammad began to withdraw into solitude. He distanced himself from the crowds of Mecca and went to Mount Hira. Just outside the city, there was a small cave there, dark, narrow, and isolated. In this cave, he would spend days alone, thinking, reflecting, and trying to fill the emptiness within. This period of retreat lasted for months. Muhammad was approaching the age of 40. In Arab tradition, 40 was considered the age of maturity. But the maturity he sought was not worldly. He was searching for spiritual illumination, meaning, and direction. And on one night, in the month of Ramadan, unexpectedly, everything changed. That night, Muhammad was once again in the cave of Hira. As always, he was alone, deep in contemplation. Outside, the cool desert wind was blowing. The stars illuminated the sky. Everything seemed calm and ordinary. Suddenly, a being appeared. Not human, a being visible to the eye, yet not of this world. It was Gabriel, the messenger of God. When Muhammad saw him, he was overwhelmed with shock. The cave seemed to close in on him. Breathing became difficult. His heart began to race. Fear surrounded him. Gabriel approached and embraced Muhammad, so tightly that he could hardly breathe. Then he released him and commanded, "Read." Muhammad replied in confusion, "I cannot read." Gabriel embraced him a second time, even more tightly, then released him again and repeated, "Read." Muhammad gave the same answer, "I cannot read." The third time, Gabriel embraced him with such force that Muhammad reached the limits of his endurance. Then Gabriel released him and recited the verses, "Read in the name of your Lord, who created man from a clinging substance. Read, and your Lord is the most generous, who taught by the pen, taught man what he did not know." These first words were engraved into Muhammad's memory, yet he was still in shock. Gabriel disappeared, and Muhammad was left alone in the cave. But nothing was the same anymore. The world had changed. God had chosen him, though Muhammad himself did not yet fully understand what that meant. Fear still gripped him. He left the cave and looked out, only to see Gabriel in an immense form filling the horizon. Wherever he looked, Gabriel was there. There was no escape. When Muhammad reached home, he was trembling not from cold, but from fear. When Khadijah saw her husband at the door, she was shocked. This was not the Muhammad she knew. His eyes were filled with fear. His body language was broken. He entered the house and pleaded, "Cover me, wrap me, wrap me." Khadijah immediately brought a blanket and wrapped him in it. For a long time, she said nothing. Muhammad continued to tremble. Khadijah waited silently. Finally, he began to speak. "Khadijah, I feared for myself. I thought I had gone mad. I thought I might have been possessed. Khadijah held his hands and spoke with certainty. No. By God, Allah will never disgrace you or abandon you. You uphold family ties. You help those burdened by hardship. You support the poor. You honor your guests. And you stand by those who suffer for the sake of truth. Allah would never do wrong to someone like you. Her words brought him some comfort, but uncertainty remained. Was this truly from God, or was it an illusion? Khadijah made a decision. They needed to go to her cousin, Waraka ibn Nawfal. Waraka was an elderly wise man who had embraced Christianity and studied the scriptures. He had knowledge of previous prophets. If anyone could understand what had happened, it was Waraka. Muhammad and Khadijah went to Waraka's home. The old man listened carefully as Muhammad described everything: the cave, the embrace, the verses, and seeing Gabriel filling the sky. Tears flowed from Waraka's eyes. Then he spoke firmly. Muhammad, I swear by God, the one who came to you is the same Namus al-Akbar who came to Moses. It is Gabriel. You are the prophet of this community. Your people will deny you, harm you, expel you, and fight you. If only I were young when that day comes, I would support you. These words changed Muhammad's world. There was no longer doubt. This was real. God had chosen him, but with that certainty came fear. His people would reject him. When Muhammad returned home, he was no longer the same man. He was no longer just Muhammad. He was the messenger of God, and this burden was heavy. The future was uncertain. Struggle was inevitable. The first revelation was not merely an event. It was a turning point that changed the course of humanity. That night in the cave of Hira marked the beginning of a message that would shape the lives of billions. Muhammad's fear, doubt, and uncertainty revealed his human side. He was chosen as a human being, sincere, honest, and courageous. God chose him for this mission with his wisdom and knowledge. The first revelation teaches us this: faith is not always easy. Sometimes fear comes, sometimes doubt, sometimes loneliness. But truth eventually becomes clear, and those who hold on to the truth are never truly lost. Today, when you look at the Islamic world, what do you think about the fact that the first revelation began with the command read? What about the first revelation affected you the most? Write your thoughts in the comments. Let us continue together to understand the roots of Islam, learn our history, and deepen our faith. If this documentary strengthened your faith, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it. See you in the next video. As-salāmu ʿalaykum.